Did you know that there have been more bets placed on Bronny James to win Rookie of the Year than any other player at multiple sports books?
Is it because he's such a big long shot?
He's 250 to 1, or he was on July 6th.
And then, what do they think? Because his dad will...
This was the headline of the story, I think, today. Bronny bounces back, scores 12. It's Summer League.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I don't.
Is he a shoo-in to make their team?
I mean,
is that a weird question?
Considering his dad is probably the most powerful person in the organization, I would say yes. But I made the statement.
His contract's guaranteed, too.
Right. I made this statement, though, a week ago. I said to everyone, I said, he's going to end up in the G League, isn't he, to start the season? And everyone thought I was crazy. Oh, no, he'll be on the end of the bench. I don't know. I mean, I guess you drafted him so that he would get on the court with LeBron at some point, but...
And this is all about the highlights, the social media, the highlights that they're going to create.
Did you, before I left, Bleck had a good question. I don't know if you guys talked about this when I was away, but Bleck asked the question, what does Bronny call LeBron?
Dad?
Do you...
Pops.
Do you call him in the middle of practice, Dad? When you call for the ball?
I bet he goes by the number. I bet he goes 6 or 23, whatever number he's wearing.
I think Bronny,
23, I'm open.
at this point, he ought to just, be quiet, not say anything. Just speak when spoken to.
Feed me, Daddy. Feed me.
Yeah, I mean, look,
I'm open.
I hope he doesn't go with that.
Feed me, Daddy.
The whole thing is just kind of, I don't begrudge him. It is what it is. They didn't need to draft him with a second-round pick, right? I mean, why wouldn't you just sign him as a free agent? Nobody was going to take him.
No.
He scored 4.5 points a game at USC in a limited participation.
I thought the Suns owner said that they were interested, that they were going to take him.
That rumor
came out yesterday.
It was floating, yeah. That rumor was.
I thought he admitted it yesterday.
Really? Well, and that's why that Suns team is a complete hot mess right now. Right? And you fired how many coaches now? You've dismantled. I mean, you were a complete disaster last year in the postseason.
They are up against the luxury tax apron to the point where they have no ability to maneuver.
Describe the apron to me as well, because I believe Silver was out there defending the apron, and I'm like,
there's a couple of things that it's not even just that when you hit the second apron, you have a much higher tax you have to pay. There's certain things you can't use a mid-level exception. There's very
perhaps most importantly, once you hit that second apron, every trade you need to make in the future needs to be almost a dollar-for-dollar matchup. So for players, how you can match salaries with multiple players to meet another player's salaries, that no longer is a possibility if you've hit the second apron, which is why they're saying going into the future, if you hit that apron, it's very difficult for you to get out of whatever financial hell you've put yourself in.
I think when we're talking about second aprons, you've made things too complicated for fans.
I agree.
And I was just going to say, Mallory and Charlie, you've done a fine job explaining it. I still have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't want to be in it. How about that?
You really don't want to be in it if it's because you've added Bradley Beal to the mix, and that's why you can't get out of it.
And I just saw the giant rights fee that they've just signed and agreed to. The league keeps 6.5 to 7% of the revenue.
James Dolan wasn't happy.
He wasn't
about
happy. The NBA is ridiculously complicated to understand financially. I don't get it. Major League Baseball All-Star Game ratings, they were up 6%.
But give the second part of the story.
It's the second lowest rating in history.
So it's up 6% from the lowest rating ever.
Yeah.
So it's the second lowest rated All-Star game.
After a record low 2023. I don't want to completely put it on the jerseys they were wearing. I don't think that'd be fair or accurate.
I don't think anyone turned it off because of the jerseys.
No, I'm kind of joking, but all inclusive in terms of.
Well, I think I know the sport is they want to like create new stars, but the problem is when you have 29?
Oh, it was more than that, wasn't it? 32 or
was
34?
it? Okay. Oh yeah, once they added the other guys who came in to replace people. When you've got that many new players, your casual fans don't recognize a lot of the players.
Of course.
They had 7,443,000 viewers on Fox, up 6% from the 2023 game, but second lowest for the event in history. I do believe that the game did go by quickly, and that's been one of the adjustments.
That's the good news.
Yeah. So you were tortured for 3.5 hours. I think it was under 3 hours. Yeah. Sort of like that's the motto with the White Sox. We're going to suck really bad, but we're going to suck quick. Game will be over before you know it. Lickety split. So yeah, y'all start. I don't know. I think baseball's got some issues. The lowest collective batting average in the history of the league. I mean, I know that they're claiming that attendance is up and there are some metrics that are positive, but
again, it's not a sport that I watch ever on a national basis until the postseason. I turn on every NFL game nationally. Yeah. I turn on a lot of NBA games nationally. I never turn on a baseball game between two rando teams. You know what I mean? I only watch the Cubs and the Sox. And then it's done for me.
Well, speaking of your Cubs, the Cubs and Dodgers are going to open up the 2025 season in Tokyo 9 days before the rest of Major League Baseball. That'll put a few more dollars in the cash registers for your team on the north side.
All right, so that they're doing what happened this year.
Yeah.
They're leaving spring training early to play.
Sure, you're going to have to get up really early to watch Cubs baseball as the season begins. Hey.
Yeah, when is that? Like 5 a.m.? We did that years ago.
It was 5 a.m. last year.
Keep it.
It's when Carmen and Jeff Brusso came over years ago when I lived on LaSalle.
You had a baseball party.
We
Think
did.
of how
we
insane.
had a breakfast party.
I like at this point in your life.
It was Mets and Cubs.
I remember that back in the day. But at this stage of your life, there's no chance in hell you would host a 5 a.m. baseball party.
Maybe with the kids, like it would be a big thing.
But then you got to wake your kids up early.
My dad had a 6 a.m. rugby party he went to a couple years ago.
Your dad is someone who sounds fun.
Yeah.
I want to talk to your dad one day.
What's his name?
Earl.
Earl? I like it.
Earl Bevins.
Speaking of Earl, as in Earl Woods, his son Tiger, in danger of missing the cuts after round one of the British Open, or the Open, as they call it. He's 13 strokes behind the clubhouse leader, Shane Lowry. Wait a second. I don't think Shane Lowry is now the leader. Let me give you the updated score at the Open. The leader currently is Daniel Brown. Do you know Daniel Brown?
He's the Bears, I think.
No, he's not. No.
Isn't he?
No, he's not there. No.
Well, he used
Shane
to be
Lowry
the
is in
Carolina
second place,
Panthers.
5 under.
That's Thomas Brown.
That's Thomas Brown. Tiger Woods today, much to the chagrin of Colin Montgomery, probably.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Went out and shot an 8 over par 79.
That sucks.
No, and that led a golf announcer
I heard
to actually accuse Tiger of taking a lot of painkillers amid disastrous round.
He said when you look at the eyes.
That is correct. Through 14 holes, Woods was a disastrous 7 shots over par, tied for 133rd in the field. As a visibly frustrated Woods was shown on Sky Sports broadcast, analyst Mark Rowe theorized that Woods' demeanor was the result of being heavily medicated. Quote, uneven ground, Rowe said. And you look at the eyes, you got to think that there's quite a lot of painkillers being taken to cope with the pain, you know? I'm not so sure that we call that responsible broadcasting.
It's not responsible journalism.
Yeah. How about maybe, you know, it was a tough day. The wind was up. It was raining. Tiger has had a number of injuries. He's playing hurt with a number of surgeries. I'm not so sure it was because of painkillers. And I'm sure the Tiger will respond to this at some point. It gets a little nasty when you go overseas, doesn't it?
Does it? Does it get more nasty overseas?
Well, I mean, listen, you didn't even the tournament hadn't even teed off, and Colin Montgomery was taking his shots, probably from behind a big plate of steak and eggs.
You know what I was most pissed off about with Tiger Woods today was that ESPN list.
Do you want to talk about the ESPN list? The ESPN has ranked the top 100 professional athletes since 2000.
Can I give you this first?
Yeah, sure.
This is Pat McAfee from a couple days ago.
Yeah.
When he got wind of this ESPN list.
Dan Orlovsky, who's been on ESPN all morning having the same conversation for the past 3 shows, will join us in 6 minutes. And we'll probably just cook him and ESPN as a whole for a lot of they've been putting out from ESPN's people. Now, there is a top 100 list that is coming out from ESPN people. And I'll tell you what, it is the epitome of everything that everybody hates about ESPN. What they chose to do in ranking the top 100 athletes of like 21st century, they only gave us like 50 to 100 yesterday. What a show. What an absolutely terrible list. And we'll blame Dan Orlovsky for that. So he'll be joining us in about 6 minutes. We can't wait for that.
ESPN gave him how much money, and he doesn't care.
No, he doesn't.
He goes after everybody, and I love it.
It's great. Would you like the top 10?
Yes.
From 10 to 1 or from 1 to 10?
10 to 1. 10 to 1.
10 to 1. Number 10 is Kobe Bryant.
Okay.
Number 9 is Usain Bolt. Number 8 is Tiger Woods.
Yeah, that's way too low.
Number 7 is Simone Biles.
Which is, how is, all respect to Simone Biles, the most decorated gymnast ever. Simone Biles to be ahead of Tiger Woods, to be ahead of many of these other athletes.
Makes your list insane. Number 6 is Roger Federer. Number 5 is Tom Brady. Number 4 is LeBron.
And that's another good argument, LeBron versus Brady, who should be higher.
Number 3 is Lionel Messi. Number 2 is Serena Williams. And number 1 is Michael Phelps, who, I mean, I can understand people calling for or voting for Michael Phelps, a record 28-time Olympic medalist, 23-time Olympic gold medalist, most gold medals at a single Olympics when he won 8 at Beijing in 2008. And I heard Carm talk. I believe he broke the different records 7 out of the 8 events he swam in. He swam in. Swam in.
I just don't see how it's not LeBron.
You know what?
Really? But wait.
You're just being a defiant one right now.
Michael Phelps is
Where's
one.
Earl? Get Earl on the phone. Earl would never say LeBron.
If Michael Phelps, if you want to tell me Brady or LeBron or one, like that's a whole different conversation.
Or Tiger?
Fine.
Messi?
I mean, in relation to Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps being one, like you're gonna tell me that Brady, LeBron, Tiger, their greatness is outmatched by Michael Phelps? I just don't fundamentally agree with that.
Michael Phelps and Simone Biles are awesome. They're awesome. They were game changers in the Olympics. But Michael Phelps
was more dominant than Simone Biles.
Michael Phelps has numerous opportunities to win numerous gold medals in one Olympics every 4 years. I get it. It's every 4 years. But a Brady or a LeBron can only win one championship a year.
LeBron could compete in the Olympics every
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah, and he has. He has gold medals.
Yes.
But I'm saying, how many gold medals does he's won all these gold medals, but how many gold medals does he walk away with in one Olympiad? All these all these team athletes can only win one championship a year. It's a year's work, numerous games, numerous rounds. And I get it. He's got to compete in the nationals and the worlds and then to get to the Olympics. I understand that. And I know there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in this. But it's not the same. It is not the same as what they do.
And by the way, Novak Djokovic is the all-time leader in
Grand Slams.
In Grand Slam titles. And he's at 11. How can he be at 11 and Roger Federer is at 6?
I have more of a less of a problem. Serena Williams is I'm fine with where she is because a tennis player has to win numerous rounds in a singular tournament to win a championship. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I think there are way more hurdles to go through than what Phelps and Simone Biles have to do.
And with Tiger Woods, I heard Carmen talking about it. He spent 5 years plus being the number 1 ranked player in his sport without ever dropping to 2 or below that. in a sport where it became more and more competitive as time rolled on because he made the sport cool and there was greater competition. He was like, there is nobody who has had a greater impact in a sport, in my humble opinion,
Me too.
than Tiger Woods.
I'm exhibit A of that. Like Tiger Woods brought me into the door of golf. I did not watch golf before Tiger, and I don't watch as much golf now after Tiger because, he's not as good. Tiger brought me to the sport along with millions, and as you always say, the other golfers should bow down to him for all the money he's made them. He is greater than just the championships, which is awesome as it is.
Yeah. And by the way, how do they put LeBron ahead of Tom Brady?
Right.
LeBron is 4 and Brady's 5.
And as one person put it on the station earlier, you could say that Tom Brady is the GOAT for sure of the NFL. Yes? Wouldn't the majority of people say
yes, he's the most accomplished guy?
He's the GOAT of the NFL?
There's some small Montana holdouts, but
and the majority of people wouldn't say LeBron is the GOAT.
Listen, Montana, I like Montana more than I like Brady, but I'll acknowledge to you that Brady is more accomplished and overall better player than Montana. So, I mean...
And one last thing for the Phelps. Isn't Katie Ledecky actually more dominant than Michael Phelps was? I know Phelps has more Olympic medals, but I think Katie Ledecky, the way she smashes her competition, is actually more impressive in some ways than what Michael Phelps has been able to do, which just goes more to the reason of why it probably should be some of those other athletes above Phelps.
And by the way, I don't know. I'm not going down the swimming hole, as they say. Instead of the rabbit hole.
Do they say that?
Yeah, well, the swimming hole. Don't they call that the swimming hole?
Want to get, when you go down the swimming hole, I don't know that you come back. You can go down the rabbit hole and come back.
But one thing I heard, they did a great job with Hoodie and Dion this morning regarding Patrick Kane. How does the greatest American-born hockey player not make the top 100? He won 3 titles. Stanley Cup championships. He ended a drought.
He had an MVP, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, since
he did.
1961, they went from 61 to 2010 without winning a championship. It was one of the longest Stanley Cup droughts. He won 3, had a dynasty. He's the greatest American-born hockey player in the history of the sport, and he's not good enough to make your top 100?
Again, this is why this list deserves to be kicked to the curb.
Dan Orlovsky, who's been on ESPN all morning, having the same conversation for the past 3 shows, will join us in 6 minutes. And we'll probably just cook him and ESPN as a whole for a lot of they've been putting out from ESPN's people. Now, there is a top 100 list that is coming out from ESPN people. And I'll tell you what, it is the epitome of everything that everybody hates about ESPN. Mm-hmm. What they chose to do in ranking the top 100 athletes of like 21st century, they only gave us like 50 to 100 yesterday. What a show. Mm-hmm. What an absolutely terrible list. And we'll blame Dan Orlovsky for that. So he'll be joining us in about 6 minutes. We can't wait for that.
I love it.
I'm trying to figure out who put this list. I know that it comes from ESPN, but who were the people that were voting on it?
Methodology. Experts in individual sports were asked to vote to rank the top athletes in their sports since Jan 1, 2000. Those votes pared down pools in each sport to list
were they athletes
of
that
10
did
to
it?
25 athletes each, which constituted the overall candidate pool for the top athletes. So basically, the people who cover their sports for each had to give the top athletes since 2000, and then from that pool, that's how they kind of whittled it down.
Hey, we have to take a break. When we come back, we will acknowledge a couple of people have passed, and.
That's your tease?
Yeah, a couple of people have passed.
A couple of people have passed?
A couple of people have passed on, 2 people you may know. And I have another list that may chap your saddle region for a different reason. That's next. Bob Newhart has passed away at the age of 94. Those of us who are 50 and older probably remember him more fondly than those who are not our age. But you told a good story about, how he was popular in a couple of different settings. There was the old Bob Newhart show, and then the new Bob Newhart show.
It was one of the best, twists on a series finale ever.
I've forgotten about that.
Yeah. on the Newhart show. But also, he's a Chicago guy, and there's a tweet going around from when he tweeted in front of his television with the W flag after the Cubs won in 2016.
He was a big Cubs fan.
And how he was getting too old for it. Like, he lived a great life. To live to 94 is spectacular.
And Lou Dobbs has passed away as well at the age of 78. Made his name on CNN and then went to the Fox Business Channel. An icon of financial news has passed away at the age of 78.
You probably watched him a bunch. Aren't you a big financial guy?
I am.
Or like watching financial
I don't
TV?
watch it in the afternoon. I actually watch CNBC in the morning, and then kind of when I'm done preparing and reading and going over stuff, and then I'm stretching, and then I'm watching TV shows. I'm binging TV shows, and I get away from the business channels. But Lou Dobbs, also a very well-known broadcaster as well. All right, the other list that probably will chap your backside is actually the list of the top 10 cornerbacks. As I've told you, as you may or may not be aware, I think you are, despite the fact that you were out of the country for a while, ESPN.com has put together a list. NFL executives ranked the top 10 at each position. The wide receivers were under the microscope yesterday. The cornerbacks were there today. Patrick Surtain from the Broncos was ranked number 1. Number 2, Denzel Ward from Cleveland. Number 3 is Sauce Gardner from the Jets. L'Jarius Sneed, who was recently traded to the Titans from the Chiefs, was 4. Jalen Ramsey of the Dolphins is 5. Trent McDuffie from the Chiefs, who I think Trent McDuffie is top 2 or 3 in the league at this point, even at the ripe old age of 23. He's been spectacular early in his career. He's 6. Jair Alexander from the Packers is 7. And Jalen Johnson comes in at number 8. Number 9, Devin Witherspoon, former Illini cornerback, is with the Seahawks, is 9. Darryl Stingley Jr. of the Texans is 10. And that is the only representation from the Bears. There's no representation from Tyreek Stevenson. So I would just say to you,
for Stevenson.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. But Jalen Johnson at 8.
I don't have a huge problem.
I thought it was a little low.
Okay.
I think he needs to be up a little higher.
I like that he got paid, and they're still saying to him, "You're still not a top 5 corner." And
that will inspire him.
Yeah.
And why did you send that picture to me today?
That's what he just posted.
Did he?
Yeah. That was posted today. I sent you a picture of what Jalen posted.
Sounds like you were creeping around in his bedroom, or it looked like it. Like, what was that?
No, I took a picture. They were interesting pictures with him and his. Is that his wife? Is it his girlfriend?
I don't know. A significant other.
Pregnant?
Don't know.
They're expecting?
Not sure that was the response. I sent you guys a text, kind of a little chat, saying, hey, the cornerback rankings are out, and Jalen Johnson's at 8. And then you sent me a picture of him and his significant other
cuddling,
kind of
cuddling.
Yeah, and like half clothed.
That's what was on my Instagram feed this morning.
Is she officially a bear too? Is she a bear?
You're bear by family, by relationship.
So Jalen Johnson comes in at number 8.
I think him and Jair Alexander have been the comps, haven't they? They've been
Alexander's had he's been in the league longer. I think he's kind of on the other side of his greatness. Trent McDuffie's the one that's got me most interested in watching playing corner right now. Sauce Gardner is good as well, but boy, I believe Patrick Surtain was number 1 last year as well from the Broncos.
All right.
But that's it. That's all I got for you.
Good. I want to ask a question about this. Is it too early to think about this? And it has to do with playing time for somebody. Too early or not too early? That is the question that we will ask next.